Welcome to lesson 3-2, estimate products. Products is an answer to a multiplication problem. So we will be multiplying and you will be estimating the products, the answer to a multiplication problem. Your I can statement is I can use rounding and compatible numbers to estimate products. Please push pause and write down the lesson title and your I can statement and push play when you are ready. You have two vocabulary words for this lesson. Your first one is underestimate, and your second vocabulary word is overestimate. First, look at underestimate, write that word, and then write the description below it. 70 times 30 is an underestimate for 72 times 34, because I bet you can see why. They took 72 and changed it to 70, so that's less than 72, and they took 34 and changed it to 30, which is less than 34. So ultimately, your estimate would be an underestimate, lower than the actual answer. Your next vocabulary word is overestimate. Not the straightest line. And we have 50 times 20 is an overestimate for 45 times 19. And I bet you can see why. They changed 45 to 50 and 19 to 20, which are all greater than the actual numbers. Please take a moment to write down both underestimate and overestimate and the example provided in your math journal. When you have done so, push play. Our next problem is the solve and share. And we will be using cubes to solve this problem. So as I'm reading it, I'm going to circle the numbers. A school club wants to buy shirts for each of its 38 members. So each person's going to get a t-shirt. Each shirt costs $23. About how much money will all the shirts cost? Solve this problem any way you choose. The next is going to be to underline the questions, and it says about how much money will all of the shirts cost? Box the important word would be about. About means we're going to estimate. So now we're going to use our E and we're going to evaluate. And we need to take 38, which is the 38 numbers, and each one's going to get a t-shirt at $20 each. So we're going to want to take 38 times 23. And our key word there is about. So about means we need to estimate. Now, guys, there's two ways you can estimate. You could choose to round, which is what we've talked about. You underline the digit you're rounding, circle the digit behind it. If it's 5 or above, you're going to give that underlined digit a shove. If it's 4 below, you're going to leave that underlined digit alone. Or you may choose to use compatible numbers. And that's just changing both of the numbers to a number that helps make the problem easier to solve when you add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Now, when you use compatible numbers, you do need to make sure that it's close to your actual numbers. What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to round. So I'm going to take 38 and I'm going to round it to the nearest tens place. I'm going to underline the digit in the tens place, circle the 8 behind it, and the 8's going to tell me to give the 3 a shove to a 4. What is in the circle becomes a 0. Times 23. I'm going to once again round to the nearest tens place. So I'm going to underline the 2, circle the 3 behind it, and the 3 is going to tell me to leave the 2 alone. And what is in the circle becomes a 0. So rounding, I have 40 times 20. Now my answer is going to be an underestimate. Although I did go up to 40 members, I said that the cost of the shirts were only going to be $20 each. So my overall answer is going to be an underestimate, not by much, so it's going to be pretty reasonable, but I am going to get $800. Now, if I was to actually solve this problem out, which you would not need to do, you would get an actual answer of 874. So that shows you that my 800 is an underestimate. Now make sure you've worked your problem out over on that right-hand side. And we're going to look at a couple students. So Anna, she used rounding just like me. So she got an underestimate, and she did round to the nearest tens place. And then there was David, and David used compatible numbers. And why not? 40 times 25 is an excellent idea. And he received 1,000. But since he went up on both the number of members and the cost of the shirt, he would have an overestimate. So in the summary select section, I want you to write what method you chose to use. You chose rounding, and explain how you rounded. Did you round by going to the nearest tens? Or did you use compatible numbers, where you chose two numbers that were easy to solve to get your answer? Please bring your journal with you when you come to school tomorrow. Have a great day.